Welcome to the Lasertag Orientation. We're just going to take a few moments here and go over some of the safety rules and how the guns work so you know what's going on while you're playing. First thing we're going to cover is the safety rules. So the first rule, big rule, is you want to stay at least 3 feet apart from each other. The guns have a really large range, so there's no reason to have a gun up close to somebody's face. The guns are made of hard plastic, and if you accidentally hit someone, it's really going to hurt. So make sure when you're playing that you maintain a 3 feet distance minimum. The second major safety rule is you always want to look before you go somewhere. If you're having an intense battle with somebody and you take off before you look, you could bump into a wall or a post or another person. So make sure you're looking wherever you decide to go. If you're going up and down stairs, it's important to focus on going up the stairs. Don't try to be battling someone while you're trying to go up and down stairs. You could trip and hurt yourself that way. And the last safety rule is no running. Everything is just walking, briskly walking, but we don't want any running, acrobatic dives, or jumping off of tables and things like that. Okay, so the guns. We have two colors of guns. We have blue guns and we have the red gun, which is actually a gold gun, but this is the red team. So we have red team and blue team. The guns are slightly different. Some guns are designed this way with a small pack on the sensor. Other guns have a larger pack. The guns perform and do the exact same things. The only difference is size and where this red button is. So on the larger pack guns, the red button is on the pack. On guns with the smaller pack, the red button is actually on the gun right here. We'll talk about that red button in a second. Okay, so what's going to happen is when it's your turn to play, you're going to be directed to go to where the staging area is, and we have to put the guns on. So if you happen to have one of these type of guns, what you're going to do is you're going to pick up the gun, and on the back of the clip, or on the back of the sensor, there's a clip, and you're just going to squeeze the clip, and I'll just point the camera down here, and you're just going to clip it onto your belt or to your pants so it sits like that. And then you're ready to go. And then once you have your gun set up, you just stand and wait for the game to start. If you have this kind, it's a little bit more involved. So what you're going to do is there's a belt. You're going to first go down on your knees and place the gun on the floor. And the reason why we do that is so that the gun won't fall on the floor. If you put it on a table and you're focusing on this, you could accidentally pull the gun off the table. So you're going to go down on one knee and you're going to put the pack on your side, and then you're going to take the clip here, it presses, and then you're going to feed the belt up through the bottom of the clip and then just pull it until it sits comfortably on your waist. If you are struggling with this, don't worry, I will help you, or a leader will help you, but that's how these go on. And then you can pick the gun up, stand up off the floor, and stand and be ready for when the game starts. Once you have your gun on, you're going to stand in front of the leader, and you're just going to hold your gun like this and point it at the leader, making sure that the sensor is not obstructed, and making sure that your hands are not touching any of the buttons and that the reload clip is not ejected. We'll talk about the reload clip in a minute. But you're just going to stand there and hold your gun and wait for it to be activated. And how it'll be activated is with the referee gun. Okay, so the leader will have this referee gun, and what they will do is start a new game by shooting in the direction of everyone's guns. Now, If your gun doesn't get directly shot at, that's fine. The ref gun has a pretty wide beam, so it can actually start many guns even though it doesn't appear that it's shooting in your direction. So what's going to happen is the ref will shoot the sensor,
ready to engage,
and you'll hear your gun say ready to engage. So that means your gun is ready to start. So at that point, in unison, everyone's going to press this red button here, so it's on the gun, on this type of gun if you have one of these, and it's on the box if you have this type of gun. But everyone's going to press and hold the red button, so you're pressing and holding it, and then everybody see the trigger here. You're going to press and hold the trigger at the same time, and what it'll do is it'll start a 30-second countdown. Now during that 30-second countdown, the gun doesn't fire or work, okay? The 30 seconds is your chance to get out into the field and find a good position, okay? It's important that we do it all relatively at the same time. That way everybody's game starts and finishes at the same time. So again, on this gun, if you have this one, you're going to press and hold the red button, pull the trigger at the same time, and its countdown is starting as well. So the blue gun, it just spooled up with that little noise, and we'll wait for this one to make the noise so you can hear it. And while this countdown is going on, this is your opportunity to disperse into the field and find a good spot. So that spool up means the gun is now ready and can be fired. So if you see the trigger here, if you pull the trigger, you'll fire the gun. If you're on the red team, you are shooting at blue guns. Red guns can't shoot other red guns, and blue guns can't shoot other blue guns. Alright? And what you're aiming for is you're aiming for your opponent's sensors. So there's two sensors. There's one sensor on the gun and one sensor on the pack. You're going to be shooting in those areas. You don't have to be exactly right on, but you want to be shooting in that vicinity. On the blue gun here, same thing. The sensor here, and then the sensor on the belt pack. You're shooting for those sensors. And you just aim and pull the trigger. Now the guns actually shoot a laser, so you can see the laser shooting out the front. That laser makes a little dot wherever you're shooting, okay? So you can use that little dot to position where you need to aim your gun if you're aiming. So you pull the trigger, and let's say you are hitting the opponent's gun. What's going to happen is you're going to see their gun light up. It's difficult to see here because it's daylight, but when the lights are dim, you'll see their sensor light up. And if you are the owner of this gun being hit, you're going to hear the sound. That's telling you you're being hit and you need to get cover. Same thing if you're the red team and you aim at the blue team sensors, you'll score hits. Each gun has a certain amount of ammunition. So when you fire, you expel a round. Each gun has 40 rounds before it has to be reloaded. The gun can either shoot semi-automatic, which means every time you pull the trigger, a shot happens, or you can just press and hold the trigger and the gun will keep firing. When your clip runs out of ammunition, you're going to hear this noise. That means you have to reload the gun. There's two ways you can do that. You can either press this red button we talked about earlier, or if you see these little levers on the side of the gun, either side of the gun, you can slide those forward and a clip pops out the bottom. You push it back in and then you've reloaded the gun. Okay? You can reload at any time. You don't have to wait till your clip is empty. Reload whenever it feels right to reload. When you're playing, if your gun is shot 25 times, your gun shuts off and you need to respawn. So if I have my blue gun here and I'm shot, if I'm shot 25 times, the gun's going to make kind of a screaming noise. It's going to light up solid. And then the screen over here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, probably not, but it says in the screen, return to base. That means you have to go to your respawn station to regenerate your gun. The respawn stations look like this. So they will be mounted on stands, and you see that there are two buttons. So this button here that lights up, this is just the on-off switch. So that's not the one you want to use. There's a push button on the other side. So that's the one we're interested in. So if you're the blue team and you need to respawn, you have to find the blue respawn station with the blue cross. If you're the red team, you need to find the red respawn station. Blue guns cannot be respawned at the red station, and red guns cannot be respawned at the blue station. So basically all you're going to do is you're going to come up to the station, you're going to put your gun in front right here, and you're going to press the push button.
Ready to engage.
And then it gets you back in the game. If you come up to the respawn station and you push the button and nothing works, just make sure your gun sensor is right in this area here. If it still doesn't happen, check and make sure someone didn't accidentally turn the respawn station off. Alright, if they did turn it off, just turn it back on and then try to respawn. If several of you are returning to regenerate at the same time, you don't all have to press the button. You can just all put your guns in the area and one person presses the button and then you'll all be respawned. Once you've respawned, you can go out and try to get more points, and then you just only return here once your gun dies after you've been hit 25 times. Some people get confused and think if they get hit once, that means they're dead and they have to respawn. But that's not the case. You have to be hit 25 times, your gun makes the loud groaning noise, and this lights up solid. That's when you have to respawn. And your LCD screen, which is on this particular box here, is on the box, or on the side here will say return to base. One of the things you can do throughout the game to get extra points is capture flags. So the flags are very similar to the respawn stations. So if I'm on the blue team, what I want to do is I want to try to capture the red team's flag. So what I do is I want to come up to their flag and, same as the respawn, hit the push button, and you'll hear that little noise, and then my light starts to flash slowly. So that means I've picked up the flag. What I need to do is make my way back to my own flag. Everyone see the blue flag? Get back there and press, hold the sensor up towards it and press the button. And then my gun makes a siren sound. That means I've dropped off the flag and gotten the extra points. Now you can only get one flag per life. So if I tried to do it again, because I haven't been killed, if I come up to the red flag and I try to press, it's not going to work. Your gun has to die and respawn before you can get more flags. If your gun has a flag and you die before you get back to the base, then you lose the flag and you drop it and you have to try to go get it again. The games last about 12 minutes. So once the timer runs out of the game, what you're going to do is you're going to hear this noise.
Game over.
And when the gun says game over and lights up solid, you want to return back to the staging area. At that point, everyone's going to line up near the computer, and I will input your scores into the computer. Each gun has a name. So if you can see on here, this gun's name is Magic, and the name is on the side pack. On this gun, the name is just on the screen. This one is Homer. So once your score has been inputted, you can take off the gun and put it back into the case, and then just take a step back and wait for the scores to come up. Once everybody's score is inputted into the system, the player scores will be displayed on the screen, and you'll be able to see where you ranked in the game. Once you've had a chance to see where you have ranked, then you want to step back and let other people have a chance to look as well. You may notice that this sight can slide off the gun. Please don't purposely take them off. If your sight is sliding off, just push it forward. And if you just, during gameplay, get into the habit of just checking it and giving it a little push forward just to make sure it doesn't fall off and get lost. I get a lot of questions about some of the text that's on the outside of the physical gun body. These gun shells were from a different system. and the electronics that are in them now are customized, so the lettering that's above the switches doesn't mean anything. Right here where it says indoor outdoor, basically that switch, all it does is turn on a green dot inside the sight there. So if you wanted to use that to help you aim, you could use that switch to turn it on and off. This other switch here that says 10 and 20, that just switches the gun from semi-automatic to full automatic. And then of course the red button doesn't have anything to do with strength over top. It's just basically the reload and then how we start the guns. And then the reload levers, they just push forward and pop the clip out to reload. You may notice there's a button in front here. All that does is if you press and hold it, it lights up your screen and can show you the LCD display. As soon as you pull the trigger, it'll go out during gameplay. That option is available if you want to check how much ammo and life you have in a particular respawn. Okay, during gameplay, if you have any issues with your gun, just find the instructor and they will help you out. You may also hear the gun say low battery. If that happens, just keep playing. The batteries, or the guns start to say low battery long before you actually will run out of batteries. So just keep playing and finish out the round and just let the instructor know that to change the batteries for the next round. Okay, that's it for the orientation. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask the instructor and have fun.